a role in shutting down my investigation. All these people that played a role in shutting down my investigation, that which I warned about on the 2nd of July, been investigated now. So I do hope that pretty soon we're going to effect arrest and we're going to be in court. I guess it's going to be a landmark case that we're going to have in court.
Sounds like it.
It will be.
You were the complainant.
I am a complainant.
And you got the National Commissioner to depose to an affidavit.
He's my witness.
Your star witness.
Yeah. All these people that play.
Wow. Welcome again. This is News for Sure. As we're gonna be trying to unpack the sequence of events, give you an update in terms of what has happened in Parliament, as well as Madlanga Commission. But then what I then decided to do is to take some time back, remind you guys where we're coming from, because I've always been very sensitive in terms of how we as people we are interpreting the Mkhwanazi press briefing. So we all know that on the 6th of July, General Mkhwanazi actually did a press briefing. But what people don't understand is that there is a history around that sequence of events. It's not something new. It's not something that is actually been just started talking about. It's something that has been there for quite some time. So now we've heard when he talks about this sequence of events around in Parliament, as well as in the Madlanga Commission, basically. Now, I'm actually going to try and help you guys to unpack what has happened. Now, not just only to unpack, but then let me take you guys back on a journey where General Mkhwanazi, in his own evidence, both in the Madlanga Commission as well as in the ad hoc committee, but then also when he was invited in the standing committee of SAPS, he also started his journey back in 2012, in 2011. So now I'm actually gonna try and help you in a presentation that I've titled SAPS Power Struggles from 2011 purge to 2025 parliamentary clash. You see, this clash that is currently happening in Parliament, it happens in a very critical point where the ANC is no longer enjoy the majority, but now we have the NTU. So now this gives us a chance for SAPS to be cleansed or to be dealt with something called that there is high-level corruption within SAPS. So I've said SAPS is faced with a decade of conflict within South African police services. We're uncovering a hidden war of control of crime, of intelligence structures, political interference, and the battle for justice. What did we just hear today? We heard today the Minister of Police says, General Mkhwanazi is just from KZN, but is very much interested in crime intelligence. He's heavily invested in crime intelligence matters instead of him focusing on the province of KZN. So that statement took me aback. I felt that the minister went very low on that statement. I think the minister there, it's the first time I'm criticizing him, but you know what? If you're doing an analysis, you need to be fair. I think he stooped very low. I think that that criticism was very unfair. And then from his side, it lacked the understanding. I thought that he's a politician who will understand the dynamics in terms of what the parliament is started, where did the police actually start from. So now, as we're going through this presentation, I'm gonna be gently taking you steps what happened in 2011. Now, we are hearing that there's two things that Mkhwanazi mentioned. One, when he was acting commissioner, he was acting national commission 2011. These are the things that he mentioned that he actually spoke about. He spoke about that there was a problem within crime intelligence. Then he was instrumental in bringing about change within the crime intelligence side. So now we also know that also during the time, there was something that was called the graveyard, which just to remind you guys, they're saying that there were several officials who were moved in the inspectorate general, a directorate. It's like a inspectorate. It's like a department basically within the SAPS that was known as the graveyard. This involve the issues of political interference allegation. That's what we're dealing with now. Abuse of secret services account. We had on the conversation that Hawk investigation being like targeted. So that means that if there's political war or if people want to target people, this is what they will do. So these are the issues that cause Mkhwanazi, when Mkhwanazi was acting, he made the mark on those things. Now, he actually said the account is known as a Secret Service account, but for all reason now we know it as slush fund. So now, the issue is there's a huge controversy in terms of what is that amount, what is in there, and people are talking about how that amount is being looted, basically. Now, and then also that amount, how it's being operated, that there's no level of oversight. Now, we know recently that there was a Brigadier Hongwan Tiani. He also wrote a statement about what was happening within that secret service account, basically. So now what is being alleged? That money is being used as a private slush fund for senior officers. It finances political motivated activities and basically. Now, so these are the issues that allowed Mkhwanazi to get to a point where saying, you know what, no more. Number two, it's the history. You need to understand, which when he started in there, there's a shift or a reshuffle that he actually did when he took over. So you could see that these are people that were shifted around. Some of them that were also fired, but there's a level of corruption that he uncovered or things that he wanted to actually change to put reform system within the Secret Service. So therefore, this presentation is actually, it's an attempt to actually maybe even provide the minister's advisors saying, no, this thing start back from 2011. So this guy has a fair knowledge of of the whole operations of SAPS. Now, in 2011, there was this anti-corruption narrative where they were addressing corruption and abuse of Secret Service account and. Now, Mkhwanazi even says even back then, the insiders were divided on the motive. They saw that it was as Mkhwanazi's assertion to his authority taking action against corruption. Either describe it as definitely political, linked to the battle of control of Secret Services fund ahead of ANC conference in Mangaung. Now, at least now we know that he remained constant, that whatever he was doing then, he was not doing things for President Zuma or anything. He was actually fighting corruption as a police officer. So I think these are some of the things that I wanted us to actually to understand, because I've seen a lot of people are engaging on these conversations where 1 minute they're siding with Mkhwanazi, 1 minute they don't side with Mkhwanazi. But for us, we're analyzing information as it is, basically, where a history or a detailed analysis needs to be provided. We take time to actually cater for that. Now, we know now at the ad hoc committee, this is what has happened. They're investigating all the allegations that Mkhwanazi mentioned on his July 6th press briefing, basically. So that focus on the minister's authority versus police commissioner, a power struggle for SAPS structures, basically. And then dependent for police officers to do their job versus interference by political leaders. We are seeing, we're also hearing the investigation by Witness A in the Madlanga Commission, how they are detailing what Mkhwanazi was talking about. I think now this thing starts to make it to take shape. Now, after the press briefing, I remember Mkhwanazi saying that we are coming to Gauteng. There is this particular brigadier who wants to intervene my investigation. We also heard on the clip that I played that he has opened the case. So anybody that has been in a view to disturb his investigation on particular cases or on the cases of the cartel, it says he's opened the case, and that case will be dealt with in Durban. That's what he said. Now, now we know that all of these things. In South Africa, you love social media. They say, you know what? People they saying, please give him Mkhwanazi his task team before he open our view once messages. The PKTT now it's called now. Mkhwanazi, we know that he's actually arguing that the decision to just disband it's irregular, and he feels that it's influenced by external forces. I think at the Madlanga Commission, we're starting to hear that evidence coming out clearly, as well as now on the other side, from Minister Mchunu, he says the president approved. But then now he says that the president agreed with the disbandment, but that's after the effect. So that happens around February or late January. But the PKTT has only been disbanded and on the 31st of December. So now, and then also we heard that he actually mentioned that he was threatened, but today he actually did apologize. But then, which was quite strange, he did apologize for that clip. But then in his conversation with Honorable Malema, there was an interaction there where he also feels that he's being threatened, but then he's not being threatened. So, yeah, it's yeah, it's a bit blur, basically. Now, what then we also see a clear listening to Mchunu's evidence and seeing what the frustration from the provincial commissioner. We see that clearly SAPS needs a clear mandate, basically. So political interference, it's what has caused this these tensions that we had, because some people feel that they can issue directive, but then when you look at the commissioner feels like that, you know what, you can tell us what to do. Yes, you can give us strategic directions, but once we're operational, we need to have our own operational independence, and we are protected by Constitution to do that. And we also need ability for us to investigate with integrity so that we remain loyal to the Constitution. You understand? So I think those are some of the things that remain the biggest problem. Now, we know that the issue that is still maintained is political interference and internal power struggles. Then now in 2025, we know that now the conflict is now misuse of police structures now. Now that means now that this thing is entrenched. It even controls the police structures, where it's saying police resources and intelligence is used for political and personal gain rather than upholding the law. I think we've seen this WhatsApp conversation where certain information is moving from one place to another. So now this is what is actually now being seen as us as analysts says, you know what? As it now 2025 is it now a whistleblower where is we this where it becomes clear that you know what, it's been very consistent né? In dealing with the issue that have been there in 2011, which are issues of corruption. Now, you see, I always ask ourselves that whenever we had the presentation, deep down, when you're coming through on our comment sections and everything, let's look at these questions and say, is Mkhwanazi a principal whistleblower cleaning up SAPS as his career from the acting side in 2011 suggests? Operational independence, what do we say about that? Let's have those discussion on the comment section, basically. And then we deal with the political authority in terms of what sort of level do we need them to actually intervene on our departments, basically. I would like to conclude by saying the conflict that that exists between Mchunu and Mkhwanazi is more than a personal fluid. It represents a profound power struggle with significant implication of justice, accountability, and South Africa's fight against political violence and corruption. So now, my submission is that we've had today, I think Mchunu even said on the last week, he said he told his chief of staff to record Mkhwanazi. And Mkhwanazi says, I don't know why the minister, what is it that the chief of staff assisted the minister before. So now you could see that Mchunu's tone towards Mkhwanazi is very harsh. And then also when you see the statement that even Mkhwanazi said, which you know what, gloves are off. If people don't want to barge in, they don't want to stop their ways, gloves are off. So you see another one that is talking firm on corruption and upholding law. But then from the Minister Mchunu there, we see him as being very polite and very passive. So what I hope that on this presentation, I have tried to actually to unpack and make you guys to understand where there's this whole things begins in 2011 and the sequence of events. I've tried to actually have the presentation so that you can see for yourself with the notes. I thank you so much for listening. I'll see you on the next recording. Bye.